My perfect days start off with really good coffee, journaling, and thinking through my day in my planner. I've been bullet journaling and using planners for a while now, but when I recently discovered digital journaling, I had to try it out right away. I first started designing my own planner without much thought to translate my favorite bullet journal spreads on there, but it quickly grew into a full-blown project of its own. As you can see here, I designed my planner on Affinity Designer, all on the iPad. I'm super excited to share this planner with you, so let's get right into it. For my planner, I wanted to have everything in one place, tracking important days, thinking about my goals for this year, and most importantly, where I can focus on utilizing my weekends to work on creative projects. I also wanted to include trackers for a variety of things, such as finances, my purchases, and a place where I can review my month. Thinking about the navigation structure of the planner was one of the most fun parts, but also the most time-consuming since all the links had to be added. This allowed me though to include other miscellaneous things where I can easily find them, such as trackers for progress I'm making in my hobbies, reviews of books and movies, and just space to write out my thoughts. Let me show you how to use the pages in more detail. When you first open up the planner, you'll see a white cover and a gray cover. You can choose the one you don't like and remove it, and you'll see the cover reflected in the main GoodNotes library. The first page is the table of contents. The 2021 section is everything to do with 2021 as a year. There's a yearly overview, bucket list, and a goal map. Below, we have a miscellaneous section where we have the progress tracker, wish list, reviews, and colors and symbols. Next is the monthly section. Here we have all the months in 2021. There are also 3 icons for each month, representing trackers and reviews. For notes, we have space to write out 10 categories of notes, similar to the progress tracker section. They are both grid and blank notes. To use the links on the page, the easiest way is to turn editing off. You can lightly drag the pencil over the page to see where the links are. Another way is to use the lasso tool and long touch on a link and click Open Link. The table of contents is linked from every page in the planner by clicking on the bookmark symbol so that you can quickly navigate to pages when you need it. Next is the yearly overview. Here, we can see all the months, and each month and week are linked for easy access. Before starting to write out things in the yearly overview, let's take a quick detour to the colors and symbols page to get set up. I'm copying the second lightest gray, which I use for highlighting days. We can copy that hex code and add the new color to the palette. I actually don't understand this UI too well, but don't click on Add to Presets because the color will be added once you click back. You can later grab the rest of the colors here as well. Now I'm taking that gray and the 5mm highlighter to mark a date. In the grid below, I can write out any notes. The links to the weeks can come in handy when you need to put a reminder to do something. For example, final reminder to get your brother's birthday gift. Next, we have the bucket list. Here you can write out 25 things you want to do in 2021. Once you do it, you can write out the date and put a picture. I really enjoyed my 2020 bucket list last year in my bullet journal because I had so much time to work on myself. So I'm super excited to see how this year will turn out. For the 2021 goals page, I separated into lifetime, 2021, and each quarter in 2021. In the lifetime goals, we can brainstorm what kind of person we want to be. The idea is to take these often very vague goals and break them down into more actionable ones. So for example, I want to work on my goal to do what I'm passionate about. This year, something I can do is to explore and find a creative outlet, so I can think about what specific ideas I want to try out. I'm using mind maps to visually group ideas together in a hierarchy, but feel free to use this space however you would like. For each quarter then, we can copy and paste a few of the goals to tackle at a time. My plan is to fill out the quarters as they come and track how I'm doing overall on my yearly goals. Now we're at January. Let me show you how to navigate between the weeks and months first. One thing to note is that for the weeks that span across 2 months, the next monthly spread is also linked. The trackers for both months are also linked at the top. This is the monthly spread. On the left, we have some space to write out some thoughts, and a lot of space for the monthly photo diary. At the beginning of the month, you can put down your goals, priorities, and any to-dos. For each day, you can put your highlight of the day photo or any thoughts. I made each day a square so that you can pre-crop your images to fit perfectly within them. It's really nice to see your completed monthly spread after you fill it out. Even though the days do seem to be blending together in quarantine, looking back at my month in pictures reminds me that there are a lot of small moments that make me happy. I made 2 versions for the weekly spread. Let's take a look at the full week one first. Each day is divided into morning, afternoon, and evening, denoted by these icons. Below the calendar, we have a habit tracker and space to put your to-dos. I also added a grid to put any notes or photos. The weekend-based planner is what I'll be using. The weekdays can fit 1 or 2 things after work, and we have space to put goals and priorities and a blank of the week. Saturday and Sunday have the morning, afternoon, evening, and notes section. For the weekend planner, the calendar is Monday start. I'm using the same gray highlighter as before to mark which week I am on. Below, there is a habit tracker that I'm calling Foundations, since habits form the foundations of our everyday lives. Right now, the habits that I've been working on are taking a morning walk, journaling, working out, and reading. You can use the month's color to mark when you complete your habit. For the goals and priorities, let's go back to the monthly spread. We can reference the ones we had in mind and also copy and paste any to-dos. I made the weekdays just big enough to fit 2 things I can get done after work. Since all of my work tasks are managed online, it doesn't make much sense for me to transcribe it onto my planner. So, my focus is on the weekend. At the top, there is space to put events, your focus of the day, or in this case, one thing I'm grateful for. Below we have the morning, afternoon, and evening sections where we can write out tasks. These time frames give me a rough idea of when I want to get things done, while also allowing for some flexibility. Next we have the blank of the week. This blank can be anything: book of the week, article of the week, doodle of the week, or whatever you would like it to be. My quote of the week is inspiration for me to just try creating something. On the daily spread, there is a timetable, space to journal, and blank space at the top for photos or drawings. You can mark which day it is on the calendar and start off the day by listing out 3 things you're grateful for. For the timetable, here's what I do. You can enable fill color for shapes, draw around the time block, and when you click undo, only the border goes away. This is an easy hack to differentiate time slots for activities. Kinda surprising, but I've been starting to like writing out my journal on my iPad more than my actual journal. The writing tool on GoodNotes makes writing on the iPad a lot easier without having to constantly scroll. This daily page is included after each weekly spread, so feel free to duplicate it for more pages. After all the weekly spreads, we have a finance tracker. Here we have a section for budgeting, tracking bills and debts, space to put individual income and expenses, savings and investment accounts, and then the actual expenses for the month and totals. You can budget how much you want to spend by category. Note that these values are arbitrary. There's no way rent could be that good here. You can copy over the categories to actual expenses, since we'll want to compare to the categories we budgeted at the end of the month. The next ones here are pretty straightforward. Space to track bill due dates and the amount of debt that we're working to reduce. For transactions, you can choose to focus on the categories you budgeted, since it will be a lot of work to write out every single transaction. In accounts, we can put savings accounts and investment accounts, and track how much we started with at the beginning of the month versus the end of the month. To finish things off, we can track the totals of our finances here. The purchase review goes with finances. I actually created this spread first before the finances page, with the goal of reducing those mindless, spontaneous purchases. treating yourself from time to time is not bad, but I wanted to start evaluating my purchasing decisions. For example, yes, this diffuser was on sale, but was it really worth it? In the monthly review, you can write out your highlights, lowlights, and anything you learned this month. Next are the finances and habit trackers to review. There are links at the top for each week, so let's go grab the finances and copy it over here. I'm copying the budget, but really it should be the actual expenses that you fill out at the end of the month. We can do the same for the habit trackers, except we'll have to do some work to separate the trackers by habit. But I promise it'll be worth it, because then we can see how we did this month on each habit. The gallery is there to showcase any photos or drawings, and I even included little spotlights at the top. And finally, we can write down any overall reflections. There are 3 progress trackers that are linked from the table of contents. You can write down the category for what you want to track on a gray box, and click on the link. In the progress tracker, there's a place for you to jot down some ideas and milestones you want to hit, like baking a banana cream pie. Then you can see how you're progressing through photos, and then you can inspire yourself with yourself. Sometimes you can't see how much progress you've made until you take a step back and look at it from afar. If you run out of space, you can always add a page after using the current template. For the wish list, you can put anything that you want to buy. When you next want to buy something, you can come back here and see if that is really the highest priority right now, or if you want to wait to save up for something better. The reviews pretty much follows the same format as the wish list. Here you can put any book reviews or movie reviews and give it your personal rating and write out some thoughts. For the stars, you can fill it in with yellow with a pen. It actually doesn't look that bad from far away. Or you can head over to the colors and symbols page. Using the lasso tool, we can take a screenshot and copy it over to the reviews page. The challenge here then is to make it perfectly fit. Similar to the progress tracker, we can define our own categories of notes in the gray boxes in the table of contents. You can choose between the grid and blank notes, and keep track of your best ideas and inspiration, and know where to find it right away. Alright, this is great and all, but how do we import the planner? You can click on the link in the description box and choose between the weekend and classic planner. For the classic planner, you can select an option between Monday start and Sunday start, and it will ask for your email where your planner will be sent. You should receive an email shortly after, which contains a link for you to download. Once you have the file on your tablet, you can click Import in GoodNotes or your app of choice to get started. Now you can start journaling, tracking, and reviewing your 2021 year. Well, I hope you enjoy the planner. Please leave me comments down below on your thoughts.